Hey guys, welcome back to Open It and Play. This is Mike, and today we're going to be looking at the Marvel Legends Executioner Build-A-Figure. So this is what the Build-A-Figure wave looks like, and we're skipping Iron Man Mark 72 because I accidentally sold him before I reviewed the figure. But we do have his pieces here. That is the giant battle axe of the Executioner and this very handsome head. So we're just gonna assemble the pieces. I have put this together before, so it's nothing new, but it's going to be pretty easy to do. Okay, that leg is already on, this leg is already on. They made these pieces very easy to put in because the plastic is a bit of a softer plastic, so they're very easy to put together. I'll give him this arm and this arm. We've got, there we go. And we do have those alternate options for his hands. So if we want, we can give him an open hand for his left hand and an open hand for his right hand. Unfortunately, no second axe holding hand for this arm and no second fist for this arm, which really sucks. Which really sucks. Okay, and we'll put his head on here. And you can see just how thick this guy stands. He is a hefty dude. So we'll give him his battle axe, and then we'll do a few checks on his posability, his flexibility. Okay. You can get an idea what he looks like here with his axe. So like I said, a nice beefy figure for the Executioner. Sorry, I don't think it was in focus. I'm not really sure. Hopefully it was a little bit. By the way, this one hand, it's open palm, but it's also sort of like a reaching out, grasping type of hand, whereas this one's just a very passive hand. So, okay, let's look at his posability. We'll pop this off for now, and we'll put it back when we do some comparisons. So, looking at this big beefy boy, his head, like we saw, is on a hinge and ball joint. So you're going to be able to, look up a decent amount, probably far enough for what you need for this figure or character. Looking down is good because he does tower over a lot of figures, or a lot of characters, I should say. Okay, as usual, mixing the two. He's got a little teensy tiny bit of attitude, but we do wish he had more. Side to side is okay. All right, his arms will go up that far, all the way around, of course. He's got these pretty ugly, bicep cuts. They're not the worst thing in the world, but they are pretty ugly. And if you twist it the wrong way, it doesn't look great. But this is sort of like a free-floating piece more than an actual bicep cut. He's got single-jointed elbows that will get you just 90 degrees. It's probably enough for me for this figure. I think the aesthetic is pretty good. He looks thick and he looks strong, so I'm not too displeased with these elbows. I think for what he's gonna do, I think he'll be able to pull off most poses. Moving on to his wrist. So this one was horizontally hinged wrist with a fist. This one is it's a vertically hinged for his axe, so that's good. And the other two were horizontally hinged. Okay. All right, and his diaphragm joint, he does have a diaphragm joint that's pretty functional. Off to the side, back a pretty good amount, and forward a very good amount for Marvel Legends, so this is a better cut on his ball joint than usual. It does kind of scrunch up his logo, but that's totally fine. Okay, he's got a little bit of paint detail here on the front, but as I said before, in another review, he is missing it from the backside, which is kind of disappointing. Thank God he has these painted on the backside. So, but anyways, he can kick up less than 90, so it's kind of disappointing. It's not the worst thing in the world for such a giant, chunky guy, but he can do splits better than most Spider-Man figures for Marvel Legends. He's got a thigh cut where we put the leg on. He's got double jointed pinless knees that will get you back that far. And he does have ankles that will hinge and pivot. But unfortunately, they don't go forward too far. And really unfortunately, he doesn't have that boot cut that we talked about earlier. So we'll give him his axe again real quick. Can kind of slip this in. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's also not super hard. And we'll get some comparisons here. So if we line him up with a few other characters. So if you don't know, the Executioner is a Thor enemy, and we'll put him alongside this big beefy Thor first. So you can see he's standing just about even with Thor. He may be just a hair taller to the top of his head, but probably Thor beats him out just barely. But yeah, he's really beefy, so he's looking more muscular than Thor, at least from what I can see, I should say. Yeah, there's Thor's beefy bicep, and here's his beefy bicep. So side by side, he's got Thor beat easily. Okay, and then more human-sized character. We've got Werewolf by Night here. We can put in one of our Spider-Man, again, the Secret Wars Spider-Man. So Werewolf by Night's a little bit bigger, but you can see how he stands compared to some more average type size characters. And the last one, we'll put him side by side by this giant rhino. This rhino is a Diamond Select knockoff version because I found out about the Diamond Select one way too late. And I ended up getting an eBay thing, and I think it's definitely a knockoff. If it's not a knockoff, it's got some of the worst paint I've ever seen. But anyway, I'm sure it's a knockoff. He is a big bad boy, so he looks like he could tangle with the rhino and probably hold his own. And if you don't know, the Executioner does have a lot of Asgardian powers. As far as I know, he is an Asgardian, but I don't know a whole lot about Thor characters. That was a thing that I only have like a few issues of, is Thor. Most of my comics are Spider-Man, Iron Man, Avengers, X-Men, stuff like that. So, but anyways, that is the Executioner. I was waiting a long time for him because he makes a great Masters of Evil villain. He's kind of an all-around good generic bad guy to use. So, but anyways, thank you guys for joining me on this review, and we'll see you in the next one. F ice and take care of yourselves. Bye for now.